There's like, I would say probably 100,000 books of that book in returns. The Kroger's and all them sent it back. All the retailers sent it back to us, and now we got to send it back to the publisher, and they're probably just gonna burn it.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's getting her book returned in mass. Folks are saying the book's so damn bad. Just send it back, child.
I mean, for real, think about who this girl is. She's out there writing books about how she drank a baby bottle and wore diapers until she was 23 years old, okay? She's out there putting in books that she showered with her grandpa and her mom, like family bath time, you know, like wild.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story has always been a whirlwind of shocking twists and turns. From being seen as the tragic victim in a chilling tale of abuse and crime, to now facing backlash for her latest move, Gypsy's name is back in the spotlight, and not in the way she probably hoped. Her memoir, My Time to Stand, is at the heart of a heated controversy, with accusations of lies and inconsistencies leaving fans, bookstores, and critics up in arms. The drama doesn't stop at her life story. This time, it's all about her book, and how it's unraveling her narrative once again. But wait, it gets even messier. Gypsy recently made waves claiming her memoir shot straight to the top spot on the bestseller list after its release. Sounds like a major victory, right? The kind of headline that screams redemption and resilience. Not so fast. As more readers dive into the pages, they're uncovering contradictions that have people questioning her truthfulness and rejecting the book outright. Let's break down how this once sympathetic figure has managed to land herself in hot water yet again.
Oh look, Gypsy Rose commented saying that her book is the New York Times bestseller list and it's equivalent to the Oscars for movies. She said they're ranked number 1 in the category. What category? Here's the New York Times bestseller current list. As you see, Gypsy Rose's book is nowhere mentioned on this list. Double check. Here's another New York Times bestseller list. Once again, Gypsy Rose's book is nowhere mentioned. Why would it be mentioned? That memoir was a fiction novel.
Gypsy Rose claims her memoir, My Time to Stand, is a bestseller. She even shared an article from Variety as proof. At first glance, this might seem like a huge win, but dig a little deeper, and the story starts to unravel. The book's actual performance tells a different tale. On Amazon, My Time to Stand ranks...
Actually, the only list I could find her on is the survival bestsellers, ranked number 4, which is a clearly paid marketing
447 overall in books, a position that's respectable but nowhere near the top. Even in specific categories like women's biographies, it holds 3rd place, while in memoirs, it's at 28th. While not terrible, these numbers fall far short of the runaway success she's claiming. So, where did this bold assertion come from? The Variety article she cited likely referred to her book as a new release in a specific category, a far cry from the prestigious bestseller title. New releases often gain temporary traction in niche markets, but that doesn't necessarily reflect massive sales or mainstream popularity. By doubling down on this claim without verifying the facts, Gypsy risks damaging her credibility. Is this another instance of her being out of touch, or is it a deliberate attempt to mislead? Either way, it's not a good look. Claiming bestseller status when rankings don't support it isn't just misleading. It's a blatant example of inflating success to stay relevant. For an influencer whose fanbase is already dwindling, moves like this can backfire spectacularly. The real question is, how much longer can Gypsy rely on exaggerated claims before her audience stops believing her entirely?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's book is a book full of lies, and if you don't believe me, check this out. March 13th, Gypsy Rose Blanchard messaged me, and in this message, you see where it says that her and Ryan are not getting a divorce, and March 23rd, she had left her husband, Ryan Anderson. Now, Gypsy Rose was actually in communication with her ex-fiance way before all of this. In fact, on a phone call with him, he told me that when she messaged me, her and him had a conversation before it. So she was cheating on Ryan even before this. The weekend of April 1st, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was out with Ken Urker. Less than 2 months later, she was pregnant. Now, she said in her book, Nicholas Godejohn was the first guy she ever told that she could walk. Less than 10 pages later, she said to Dan She said about Dan that he is the first guy she ever told she could walk. If that right there doesn't tell you that the whole book is a book full of lies, I don't know what will, honey, but I just want y'all to know that this girl is a liar.
The enthusiasm surrounding her book has turned into outright disappointment for many fans. Readers who once championed her voice are now expressing disillusionment, with some accusing her of exploiting her platform for profit, rather than delivering the honest and inspiring story they expected. The term bestseller attached to her book is under scrutiny as well, highlighting a harsh reality of the modern publishing industry. In today's digital age, it's not hard to claim one spot in niche categories with a well-orchestrated launch, but achieving genuine bestseller status on major charts requires sustained public support, something My Time to Stand has failed to muster. Adding to the backlash are the less than stellar reviews pouring in. Both critics and everyday readers have pointed out glaring inconsistencies and inaccuracies in her narrative. These flaws, combined with her history of amplifying questionable claims, are fueling doubts about her credibility. Fans who once saw her as a trustworthy voice are now questioning her reliability, leading to a growing sense of betrayal among her audience.
I watched her Lifetime special. I follow her on social media. She does state at the beginning of the book that she doesn't want this to be like true crime because this is her life, and I absolutely respect that. She literally starts the book saying, "My mom gave birth to me when she was 24 years old, and I took away her life when I was almost 24 years old." Something like that. And it was just a very, very, very gripping opening statement. Like, I was shook. I was like, I cannot believe that.
Is Gypsy's bestseller status just smoke and mirrors? The drama surrounding her memoir, My Time to Stand, has taken another wild turn, and let's just say, it's not looking good. What was supposed to be a legacy cementing masterpiece is quickly unraveling into a PR disaster. Instead of letting her work speak for itself, Gypsy has raised eyebrows yet again by silencing critics. Literally. Fans pointing out inconsistencies in her claims. Her solution? Turn off the comments. This move isn't just about dodging negativity, it screams damage control. Social media thrives on conversation, but Gypsy's choice to cut off her audience sends a crystal clear message. She only wants engagement on her terms. If her memoir is the resounding success she claims it to be, why isn't she celebrating the dialogue and embracing her critics? Instead, shutting them down only fuels speculation. What is she so desperate to hide?
Do y'all remember the interview where Claude stated that Gypsy was actually the one that would try to inappropriately grab and touch him? After reading this book, I believe Claude Petrie so much more. There is no doubt, in my mind anyway, that Gypsy Rose was completely inappropriate and definitely could have been the one initiating the touching and the grabbing with her grandfather. Just look how sexually inappropriate her book is. Just look at it. How sexually inappropriate she as a person is. After reading this book, I believe Claude Petrie's story that much more. I'm just saying there's that.
But here's the kicker. This isn't Gypsy's first rodeo when it comes to avoiding accountability. From inconsistent narratives to controversial decisions, she has a well-documented history of retreating behind limited interaction whenever backlash hits. This silent strategy might offer short-term relief, but in the long run, it chips away at her credibility. And let's talk numbers. Reports suggest My Time to Stand is far from flying off the shelves. Allegedly, a whopping 100,000 copies are sitting in returns, raising serious doubts about those bestseller claims. If fans are rejecting the book, they're also rejecting Gypsy's unwillingness to address her critics head-on. For someone whose brand hinges on transparency, this irony couldn't be more glaring. Gypsy's story is fast becoming a cautionary tale of what not to do when the spotlight turns critical. The big question now, will she finally own up to the cracks in her story, or keep running from the conversation?
So I heard this clip. I'm going to add the clip, and I'm going to tag the creator that I got it from. I don't know where they got it from, but I want y'all to hear this clip because child Gypsy Rose is probably at the house of tears.
Is this the flop of the year? A TikToker who's known for spilling the tea didn't hold back, uncovering some jaw-dropping details about the sales of this highly anticipated book. According to the receipts, and yes, they contacted a wholesaler directly, the verdict is in. The book isn't selling at all. The wholesaler didn't sugarcoat it, confirming that distributors and retailers are practically drowning in unsold copies. To make matters worse, many of those copies are being returned, leaving the publisher, B. Bella Books, scrambling to deal with what's shaping up to be a major crisis.
Book isn't doing good because what?
It's in returns. So I guess I haven't seen it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it didn't come through receiving. I guess it came through promo. So they put it on the displays, you know what I mean? Like they have a Kroger and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, I would say probably 100,000 books of that book in returns, because the Kroger's and all them sent it back. All the retailers sent it back to us, and now we got to send it back to the publisher, and they're probably just going to burn it.
Gypsy's publishing journey might be hitting a major plot twist. With her staggering 9.8 million TikTok followers, you'd think she'd be a sure bet for bestseller glory. But rumor has it, Bella Books might not be thrilled with the results. So, is Gypsy's online fame all flash and no follow-through when it comes to turning likes into loyal readers?
Girl, you thought it was your time to stand. That's why you named your book that. But the lie detector test said it was your time to sit the hell down. When you lie so much in your book so bad, they say, you know what, just go on, send it back. We don't even want this. Probably after all the uproar over this weekend, all these bookstores and stores are just like, yeah, we don't want any parts of this. This is the woman that unalived her mom. No, we're good. We'll pass on that. Not all money is good money. We don't need it.
Social media stardom doesn't always equal real-world success, and Gypsy Rose Blanchard is learning this the hard way. Despite her notoriety, her memoir, My Time to Stand, is reportedly a major letdown, both for readers and her publisher, Bella Books. What seemed like a guaranteed bestseller, fueled by Gypsy's infamous backstory, is now facing a tidal wave of returns and scathing feedback. So, what went wrong? Let's break it down. Many fans follow Gypsy out of sheer curiosity, drawn to the sensationalism of her story. But when it came time to open their wallets, the support wasn't there. Printing and distributing books is an expensive endeavor, and unsold copies are now stacking up, creating significant financial losses for the publisher. Typically, publishers rely on strong initial sales to break even, but My Time to Stand barely got off the ground. The surge of returns highlights how poorly the memoir has been received, not just by individual readers, but also by the retail market. This backlash isn't just about the book's content, it's about trust. Readers feel misled by Gypsy's narrative, particularly her repeated claims about being a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a severe form of child abuse. However, her mother, D.D. Blanchard, was never officially diagnosed with this condition. The claim originated from Gypsy's legal defense team during her trial and has since stuck without any concrete evidence to back it up. By leaning on this unverified narrative, Gypsy isn't just misleading her readers, she's overshadowing real victims of abuse. Instead of presenting a tale of resilience and redemption, the memoir comes across as an attempt to cash in on her infamy. Negative word of mouth has only added fuel to the fire, discouraging even more potential buyers from picking up a copy. Interviews meant to promote the book have also raised eyebrows. Gypsy claimed her family supported her decision to write My Time to Stand, even going so far as to say they encouraged her to share her story. But these statements appear to be far from the truth, further alienating her audience. At this point, the odds of turning this situation around seem slim. The disconnect between Gypsy's public persona and her audience's willingness to support her has never been more evident. While she continues to lean heavily on her victim narrative, the public seems to have had enough.
Book was something that I always wanted to happen, and it was something that even my mother's side of the family definitely encouraged and approved of. I know they weren't very supportive of a lot of the documentaries and everything, but they always felt support for me and support for me sharing my story in a book. So I think that that was important to honor their wishes, my wishes, share my voice in a proper way.
That's pretty empowering to have, you know, the her side of the family that encourage you to have your voice in the book. I guess because you could make sure the words are that of your own.
Exactly.
The drama surrounding Gypsy Rose Blanchard is intensifying, and her own family is at the center of the storm. This isn't just a family spat, it's a full-blown public feud that's catching everyone's attention. Her relatives, including aunts Claudia Petrie and Dolores SRI, are hitting back hard, publicly denouncing her memoir and distancing themselves from the narrative she's pushing. In fact, it's escalated to protests outside her book signings and even memorials for Diddy, where they've made their disapproval clear. These aren't just symbolic gestures. They're a loud declaration that Gypsy's version of events is not only rejected by her family, but is seen as a deliberate distortion of the truth. For Gypsy to claim they're on her side, it's being called a straight-up manipulation of facts, and many feel it's a slap in the face to Diddy's family, who've already endured so much pain. Instead of taking a moment to reconnect with her family, Gypsy is choosing to twist the narrative and keep alienating those who should matter most to her. That's raising serious questions about her motives. If she can't even be honest about the feelings of her own flesh and blood, how can anyone trust what she says in her book?
Gypsy Rose's book is disturbing, to say the least. I'm going to show you guys one page of her book that literally had my jaw on the floor. Major trigger warning, and you guys will have to fill in the blanks for a lot of it because otherwise it'll get taken down. This is her and Nick's conversation about discussing what they were going to do to her mother. Burn up the house, knock over a candle, it will look like an accident. No, too many things can go wrong. When he suggests poisoning her, she says no, poison is too slow and too brutal. What about a GUN? Victor can her. So they had like alter ego nicknames for each other, and his was Victor. She said she looked into getting a gun, but she didn't have a state issued ID. This is where it starts to get crazy. He wanted to strangle her and feed her to the pigs. But this literally made me want to throw up. He wanted to load my mother's body into the Ford One Star, assault her with and then afterwards demand and drop her body at the pig farm. Like, hello, you already unalived her. Now you're trying to make money off of a book with these disgusting details.
The contradiction is glaring, and the public is starting to take notice. As the backlash against My Time to Stand for Betty grows, it's clear that Gypsy's credibility is in serious trouble. Then there's the jaw-dropping accusation she makes about her grandfather, Cloudy Petrie. In her memoir, she claims he sexually abused her, describing him as a touchy-feely figure. But Cloudy is firing back, denying the allegations and even accusing Gypsy of being the one with inappropriate behavior. With Gypsy's reputation for manipulating the truth, the public is left scratching their heads. A book that's supposed to be a beacon of hope for abuse survivors is now raising more questions than it answers. Instead of empowering victims, it's filled with personal stories of Gypsy's sexual experiences, which are making many readers uncomfortable and detracting from her supposed message of resilience. So, where does Gypsy go from here? Can she salvage any shred of her reputation? Or is she too deep into her own distorted version of reality to come back? The clock is ticking as the negative reception of her book continues to spiral, and with growing doubts about the authenticity of her story, it's hard to see a way forward. But we want to hear from you. Do you think Gypsy will ever come clean? Or is she too far gone? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the latest updates on this developing saga.